The clink of wine glasses stopped as my wife, Clara, leaned across the family dinner table, her eyes cold, and said, "You don't even know who your real dad is, George." Her mother's sharp laugh pierced the silence, and in that moment, the room spun, my heart cracked, and the family I'd trusted became strangers, their secrets ablaze I hadn't seen coming. The November chill seeped through the windows of our dining room in Asheville, North Carolina, the candles flickering on the oak table, their glow a frail warmth against the tension I hadn't yet named. I, George Tanner, stood carving the roast, my flannel shirt rolled up, my hazel eyes catching the light, my hands steady despite the weight in my chest. At 37, I was a bookstore manager, my life woven with my wife, Clara, and our two kids, Lily and Owen, in a craftsman bungalow we'd made our own. Tonight's family dinner, my in-laws, my mother, a scattering of cousins, was meant to be a celebration, a toast to Clara's promotion, but her cruel remark about my father, followed by her mother's laugh, had shattered that illusion, exposing a fault line in our family I'd never suspected. Clara sat across from me, her blonde hair pinned, her green eyes sharp, her new role as a hospital administrator lending her a poise that now felt like a weapon. We'd been married 10 years, our love a slow build from college coffee dates to parenting, her wit and drive a balance to my quieter steadiness. But her words, "You don't even know who your real dad is," hung in the air, a deliberate cut, her mother Ellen's laugh a cruel echo. The table froze, my mother, Diane, stiffening, her fork clattering, the cousin's eyes darting, my kids confused. I forced a chuckle, my voice tight. "That's a new one, Clara. Care to explain?" But her smile, thin and unyielding, offered no retreat, only a challenge. The moment replayed in my mind as I passed the potatoes, the roast aroma heavy, my internal monologue a churn. Why say that? What does she know? My father, or the man I'd called Dad, was Harold Tanner, a mechanic who died when I was 10, his gruff voice and oil-stained hands a faint memory. Mom had raised me alone, her librarian's salary stretching thin, her stories of Harold simple, a good man, gone too soon. I never questioned it, but Clara's remark, Ellen's laugh, stirred a doubt I couldn't shake. Is there a secret? Hope flickered. Maybe it was a cruel joke, a misstep, but the glint in Clara's eye, the way Ellen leaned back, smug, suggested something deeper, a truth they held over me. I glanced at Mom, her silver hair neat, her eyes fixed on her plate, her silence a weight. She knows something, I thought, my heart sinking, the family dinner's warmth turning cold. Clara's mother, Ellen, a retired realtor with a penchant for control, had always jabbed at me. Bookstores, George? Not exactly ambitious, but her laugh tonight was different, a knowing edge, as if she and Clara shared a script I hadn't read. The cousins, Mark and Sarah, shifted, their chatter forced, while Lily, 9, whispered to Owen, 6, their confusion a mirror to mine. What's happening to us? My internal monologue cried, my pride a bruise, my role as husband, father, son suddenly in question. I try to bridge the gap, my voice low, probing as I pass the wine. Clara, that was a hell of a thing to say. What's behind it? The table hushed, the candles flicker a pulse. She sipped her wine, her tone light but sharp. Just a thought, George. You never talk about your dad. Makes you wonder. Ellen smirked, her voice cutting. Some things are better left buried, dear. The double act was a slap, their words a riddle, and Mom's flinch, her quick pass the bread a dodge, deepened my unease. They're hiding something, I thought, confusion spiking, my trust in Clara, in my family, fraying like old rope. Flashbacks grounded the moment, the audience sensing my reflection in the way I gripped the carving knife, its blade dull but heavy. Clara and I in our early days, laughing over cheap pizza, her hand in mine as we dreamed of a bookstore cafe, kids a life. Hope had been our glue, her ambition climbing, my bookstore a quiet pride. But cracks had appeared. Her late nights at the hospital, her dismissals. "You're too sensitive, George," when I'd ask about her stress. Ellen's visits, their whispers stopping when I entered. A low point. Last year, Clara's "I need space" after a fight. Her week at Ellen's, my questions unanswered. I'd chalked it up to work, trusted her love, but now, her remark was a lens, sharpening those moments into a pattern, a secret I'd missed. I confided in my assistant manager, Rachel. After dinner, the guests gone, the kitchen a mess of plates I'd wash alone. Over coffee at the bookstore, its shelf a haven, I shared the remark, my voice low. Clara said, "I don't know my real dad, Rachel." Ellen laughed. Mom froze. "It's eating at me." Rachel, 50, her eyes kind, leaned forward. "That's cruel, George. Sounds like they're holding something over you. Talk to your mom, dig, but don't let it fester." Her support was a spark, her advice a map, my suspicion hardening. I'd ask Mom, watch Clara, uncover what lay behind their words, their laughter. The dinner ended in silence, Clara clearing plates, Ellen's smirk lingering, Mom's goodbye hug brief, her eyes avoiding mine. I tucked Lily and Owen in, their questions, "Why'd Mommy say that?" A weight I soothed with just grown-up talk. Alone, I stood in the dining room, the candles out, the table scratches a map of our life. I'm not crazy, my internal monologue vowed, my journal open, words raw. They know something about my dad, my life. I'll find it. The audience could feel the tension, my pain in the creak of the floor, my resolve in the steady scratch of my pen. Clara's remark, Ellen's laugh, had cracked my trust, exposing a secret I'd chase, my dignity a fire I'd stoke, the sting of that moment a spark that would guide me to truth, whatever it cost. The Asheville night was a heavy drape, the craftsman bungalow's silence broken only by the creak of the floorboards as I sat on the edge of our bed, my flannel shirt unbuttoned, my hazel eyes staring at the moonlit wall. I, George Tanner, was 37, a bookstore manager, my life unmoored since last night's family dinner, when my wife, Clara, said, "You don't even know who your real dad is," her mother Ellen's laugh, a cruel echo. I'd brushed it off then, forcing a smile, but now, her words echoed like a pulse, stirring memories of awkward comments, odd silences, and family photos that never fit. My gentle questions to my mother deflected, my search through old boxes unearthing a letter that cracked my world, and Clara's confession. "You were never supposed to find out like this," a door to a truth I wasn't ready to face. The dinner had ended in a haze, the guests gone, the dishes stacked, my kids, Lily and Owen, asleep. I played it off, joking with Clara, "Wild night, huh?" Her tight smile a mask, Ellen's smug glance a barb. But at 2 a.m., the house still, her words returned, a taunt I couldn't shake. What does she know about my dad? My internal monologue churned, confusion a weight in my chest. I'd always believed Harold Tanner, dead when I was 10, was my father, his mechanic's hands, his gruff, "good job," kid a faint anchor. Mom's stories were sparse, her photos of him few, but I'd never doubted. Now, Clara's remark, Ellen's laugh, were a lens, sharpening past moments into questions. Flashbacks flooded, the audience sensing my unease in the way I gripped the bed frame, my breath uneven. Awkward comments surfaced. Ellen, years ago, at our engagement party, smirking, "You're a mystery, George, no roots to speak of." I'd laughed, but Mom's quick subject change, her eyes darting, had fell off. Odd silences at family dinners, Clara and Ellen whispering, stopping when I neared, their glances heavy. Photos that didn't add up, Mom's albums, Harold absent in my baby pictures, a gap where his face should have been. Why didn't I notice? I thought, shame creeping, my trust in Mom, in Clara, fraying. Hope flickered. Maybe it was nothing, a cruel jab. But Clara's cold delivery, Mom's flinch, suggested a secret, a betrayal I'd been blind to. I questioned Mom gently that morning, driving to her duplex, the Asheville hills fogged, her kitchen warm with coffee and cinnamon rolls. She sat, her silver hair neat, her librarian's hands folding a napkin, her eyes wary as I spoke. "Mom, Clara's comment last night about my dad. What was that? Is there something I don't know?" My voice was soft, probing, my heart racing. She stiffened, her smile forced, her tone light. "Oh, George, she was just being dramatic. Harold was your dad. You know that." Her deflection was a wall. Her quick, "How's the bookstore?" a dodge, and I nodded, my suspicion hardening. She's hiding something, my internal monologue vowed. Her avoidance a spark, my trust in her wavering. The search began that afternoon, the audience feeling my resolve in the attic's dust, the way I knelt by old boxes, my hands sifting through Mom's keepsakes, letters, receipts, my baby shoes. Clara was at work, the kids at school, the house a quiet stage for my unraveling. I found a photo, Mom, young with a man, not Harold, his arm around her, my infant face in her arms. The back read, Lila, 1988, my birth year but no name for him. Then a letter, yellowed, addressed to James Carver at a Raleigh address, and signed, the words chilling. "I can't tell him yet. He's too young. I'll keep your secret." My breath caught, my hands shaking, the audience sensing my shock in the creak of the attic floor, the letter a crack in my identity. Who's James Carver? My real dad? The thought was a blade, betrayal surging, my life a lie I'd never questioned. Flashbacks deepened the wound, the audience feeling my pain in the way I clutched the letter, my eyes wet. Clara's distance last year, her space at Ellen's, her late nights, hospital stuff, George, now felt like a cover, her knowledge of this secret a betrayal. Mom's silences, her sparse stories of Harold, her tension when I'd ask about Dad's family. No one worth knowing, were clues I'd ignored. They've been lying, I thought, rage mixing with grief, my hope. Maybe it's a mistake, fading, my pride a bruise. I journaled, my words raw, my dad, my life. It's a secret they kept. What? The act was a release, my resolve a vow. I'd confront Clara, demand answers, uncover the truth behind James Carver. The confrontation came that evening, the bungalow dim, the kids in bed, Clara in the kitchen, her blonde hair loose, her wine glass a prop. I held the letter, my voice low, trembling. "Clara, I found this. Addressed to James Carver, about a secret, my birth. Your comment last night. I don't know my real dad. What do you know? Who's he to me?" Her face paled, her glass clinking on the counter, her eyes darting, her voice a whisper. "You were never supposed to find out like this, George." The words were a hammer, her admission a confirmation, my heart splintering. She knew, my internal monologue roared, betrayal of fire, her role in the lie a deeper cut than her dinner remark. "Find out what?" I pressed, my tone raw, the audience sensing my pain in the silence, the way I stepped closer, her flinch a sign of guilt. She hesitated, her eyes wet, her voice shaking. I can't, George. Talk to your mom. It's not my place." Her dodge was a betrayal, her refusal to explain a wall, and I turned, the letter crumpled in my fist, my resolve blade. "You broke us with this, Clara," I said, my voice steady, my pain a fuel. The audience could feel the tension, my shock in the creak of the stairs, my determination in the journal I opened. They lied. All of them. I'll find James Carver the truth. Clara's confession, Mom's deflection, the letter. They were threads in a secret I'd unravel. My identity a question, my dignity a fire I'd stoke, the sting of her words a spark that would lead me to answers, no matter the cost. The Asheville dawn was a soft bruise, the mist curling around the hills as I sat in my bookstore's back office, a laptop glowing, my hazel eyes tracing names on a screen. George Tanner, was 37, a bookstore manager whose world had tilted since Clara's cruel remark at our family dinner. You don't even know who your real dad is, and her confession after I found a letter to James Carver. You were never supposed to find out like this. 2 weeks had passed, my trust in Clara and Mom fraying, my quiet search for answers, tracking names, asking questions, avoiding Clara, a steady pulse, my mother's admission and a family friend's revelation cracking my past open, a photo of myself as a baby, held by a man with my eyes, anchoring my unraveling identity. I'd pulled back from Clara, the audience sensing my restraint in the way I left notes. Working late, and slept in the guest room, her apologies. George, let's talk, unanswered. Her betrayal, knowing a secret about my father and wielding it like a blade, was a wound I couldn't touch. My days were a routine to hold me. Coffee at dawn, bookstore shifts, bedtime stories for Lily and Owen, their questions, why's mommy sad? Met with we're figuring things out. But nights were a churn, my internal monologue a whisper. Who am I if Harold wasn't my dad? Flashbacks of growing up with Harold, distant and passive, sharpened the doubt. His rare smiles, his go play, kid, his evenings in the garage, tools clinking, left me chasing his approval, a boy unsure of his place. Was it because I wasn't his? The thought was a quiet ache, my shame a shadow. My search was deliberate, the audience feeling my focus in the attic's dust, the way I sifted Mom's boxes, finding no more letters, only bills, Harold's death certificate. I Googled James Carver, Raleigh, too many hits, no clear match. I call Mom's old neighbors, my voice casual. Remember any friends from '88? Their vague replies a dead end. Hope flickered. Maybe Clara misspoken, Mom's silence a quirk. But disappointment grew, her deflection, Clara's guilt, a truth I couldn't ignore. I journaled, my words raw, they've lied my whole life. I need the name, the man. The act was a tether, my resolve a vow to uncover my origins, to reclaim my story. I questioned Mom again, at her duplex, the kitchen warm with tea, her silver hair loose, her eyes wary. Mom, the letter to James Carver, I said, my voice soft, steady, my heart racing. Clara knows something about my dad. You do too. Tell me. She froze, her mug trembling, her voice low. George, Harold was your father in every way that mattered. Her pause was heavy, her eyes wet. He loved you like his own, even if you weren't. The admission was a quiet quake, my breath catching, the audience sensing my shock in the silence, the way I gripped the table. Not his. The words sank, my identity a question, her I can't say more, not yet a deflection I couldn't fight. I left, her hug frail, my resolve a blade. I'll find him myself. The breakthrough came from an old family friend, Helen, a retired nurse Mom had worked with, her number tucked in a Christmas card I'd found. I met her at a diner, the air thick with grease, her gray curls tight, her eyes kind but sharp. Helen, I'm digging into my past, I said, my voice low, my coffee cooling. Clara said, I don't know my real dad. Mom mentioned to James Carver. What do you know? She sighed, her hands folding, her voice soft. Your mom was scared back then, George. She met James in '87, a painter, kind but troubled. They split before you were born. She married Harold, who took you as his. James left for Raleigh, wanted to reach out, but she wouldn't let him. She paused, her eyes meeting mine. James Carver's your father, George. I'm sorry you're learning it like this. The name landed, a truth I'd chased, my heart a mix of relief and pain, the audience feeling my quiet shift in the clink of my spoon, my resolve to find him. Flashbacks grounded the moment, the audience sensing my reflection as I drove home, the hills a blur. Harold's distance, his late nights, his gruff, you're fine, when I'd fall, now made sense, his love real but strained, a stepfather's burden. Mom's silences, her quick hugs, were a shield, her fear of this truth a cage. Clara's role, knowing and hiding it, was a deeper betrayal, her dinner remark a weapon to wound, not just me but Mom. Why keep it from me? My internal monologue mourned grief for the father I'd lost, rage for the lies I'd lived. Hope dimmed. Clara's love, Mom's trust were tainted, but my search was a spark, my dignity a fire I'd stoke. I dug deeper, avoiding Clara, my evenings at the library, scanning Raleigh records for James Carver, finding an artist's obituary from 2010, his photo too grainy to judge. I called galleries, left messages, looking for a painter, James Carver, 80s, my voice steady, my heart racing. At home, I searched the attic again, the audience feeling my tension in the creak of the ladder, the dust on my hands. In a shoebox, beneath Mom's scarves, I found a photo, me as a baby, cradled by a man, his hazel eyes, my eyes, bright, his smile soft, the back scrawled, George, 1988. My breath stopped, the audience sensing my awe in the tremble of my fingers, the way I traced his face, a mirror to mine. This is him, my father. The photo was a tether, a truth Clara and Mom had buried, my identity a puzzle with one piece found. I stood in the attic, the bungalow dark, Clara downstairs, her George, you okay? Unanswered. They hid him from me, my journal read, my words a vow. James Carver, I'll know you, no matter what they've done. The audience could feel the suspense, my pain in the attic's chill, my resolve in the photo's weight. Clara's lie, Mom's admission, Helen's truth were threads in a secret I'd unravel. My search a path to self-truth, my dignity a stone I'd carry, the sting of that dinner a spark that would lead me to James, to myself, whatever it revealed. The Asheville winter was a quiet shroud, the January fog cloaking the Blue Ridge Hills as I drove to Raleigh, my hands steady on the wheel, my hazel eyes fixed on the road ahead. I, George Tanner, was 37, a bookstore manager whose life had been upended by Clara's cruel remark at our family dinner. You don't even know who your real dad is, and the discovery of a letter and photo tying me to James Carver, my biological father. Mom's admission that Harold wasn't my dad, and a family friend's confirmation of James, had fueled a search that led me to David Carver, a quiet, older man forbidden from my life. Our meeting, tense yet emotional, was a bittersweet understanding, Clara's attempts to reconnect a clouded shadow, and a never-delivered letter from David, found in his home, would anchor my unraveling truth with its words. Even if I can't be your father, I'll always be your beginning. My search had intensified since finding the photo of baby me, held by a man with my eyes, labeled 1988. Clara's distance grew, her late nights at the hospital heavier, my guest room nights a boundary I held. I tracked David through gallery records, learning James Carver was his late brother, a painter who died in 2010. David, 67, lived in Raleigh, a retired art teacher, his number found via curator. I called, my voice steady, heart pounding. David, I'm George Tanner. I think you knew my mother, Lila, in the 80s. I need to talk. His pause was long, his voice soft, cracked. I've been waiting for this call, George. Come by. The invitation was a door, my resolve a vow to face the man who might hold my truth. The meeting was in David's small bungalow, its walls lined with James's paintings, bold abstracts, colors bleeding like wounds. David was slight, his gray hair thin, his hazel eyes, my eyes, worn but kind, his hands trembling as he offered tea. The audience could feel the tension, my restraint in the way I sat, my flannel shirt creased, my breath shallow. David, I found a letter to James, a photo of me as a baby. I said, my voice low, probing. Mom said Harold wasn't my dad. Are you, or was James? His eyes welled, his voice a whisper. James was your father, George. I'm your uncle. He loved your mom, but he was troubled, drinking, drifting. She left him before you were born, married Harold, who promised stability. She forbade James from contacting you, said it'd hurt you. He had no choice. The revelation was bittersweet, the audience sensing my emotion in the silence, the way I traced a painting's edge, my heart a mix of grief and clarity. James was my dad, but couldn't be. David's voice broke, his hands folding. James wanted you, George. He'd watch from afar, send me photos. He got sober, painted for you, but Lila wouldn't budge. I respected her wish, but it killed him. I nodded, my throat tight, my internal monologue a churn. He loved me, but they hid him. Flashbacks stung. Harold's distance, his gruff, "You're fine." Now, a stepfather's mask. Mom's silence is a shield, Clara's knowledge a betrayal. Why didn't you reach out? I asked, my voice raw, vulnerable. David's eyes met mine, his tone soft. I promised, Lila, but I kept James's things for you. Hoped you'd find me. The understanding wasn't a reunion, but a bridge, my pain a quiet tide, my identity a piece reclaimed. Clara's attempts to reconnect were a shadow, the audience feeling my wariness in the texts I ignored. George, I'm sorry. Let's fix this. Her motives unclear. She'd left voicemails, her voice soft, pleading, but her dinner remark, her "you weren't supposed to find out," lingered, a calculated wound. At home, she'd cooked dinner, her eyes searching, her "I miss you, George," a hook I didn't trust. Is she guilty or controlling? My internal monologue questioned, my journal raw. She knew about James, used it to hurt me. Why now? I kept my distance, my focus on Lily and Owen, their bedtime stories a haven, my resolve a boundary. I'd uncover her role, but on my terms. David's home held answers, the audience sensing my shift as he handed me a box. James's sketchbooks, letters, photos, a life I'd never known. He wrote to you, never sent them, David said, his eyes wet, his hand on mine. I took the box, my heart racing, the weight of it a tether to a father I'd lost. Back in my apartment, at least a small place, a step from Clara. The box sat open, the audience feeling my reverence in the way I turned pages, James's sketches of Asheville Hills, my infant face in pencil, his love a ghost. A letter, dated 1995, was tucked inside, never delivered, its words a quiet hammer. Dear George, I'm your dad, but I can't be there. Your mom's right. You need stability, not my chaos. Even if I can't be your father, I'll always be your beginning. I love you. I read it in the dim light, my breath catching, the audience sensing my emotion in the tremble of my hand, the way I traced his handwriting, my eyes wet. He wanted me, my internal monologue whispered, grief for James mixing with rage for Mom's silence, Clara's cruelty. Flashbacks deepened the moment. Harold's absence at my games, Mom's quick hugs, Clara's whispers with Ellen, all pieces of a lie I'd lived. They stole them from me, I thought, my resolve a fire, my dignity a stone. I journaled, my words a vow. James was my beginning. I'll know him, expose their lies. The tension simmered, the audience feeling my clarity in the steady scratch of my pen, the way I stacked James's sketches, my plan forming. I'd confront Mom and Clara, share James's truth, not with rage, but precision, perhaps at a family event, a stage to dismantle their narrative. Hope faded, Clara's motives, Mom's secrets were walls, but my strength grew, David's honesty, James's letter, a foundation. I stood by my window, the Asheville lights soft, the letter in my hand, my heart steady. I, George, was piecing myself together, my search a path to truth, my identity a fire I'd stoke, the sting of Clara's remark a spark that would lead me to answers, to a reckoning, whatever it took. The Asheville spring was a gentle bloom, the February air soft with the scent of budding dogwoods as I stood in my new apartment, a small studio overlooking the French Broad River, my hands hanging a photo on the wall. A baby me, cradled by James Carver, my biological father, his hazel eyes mirroring mine. I, George Tanner, was 37, a bookstore manager whose life had been upended by Clara's cruel remark at our family dinner. We don't even know who your real dad is, and the unraveling of a secret. James, not Harold, was my father, a truth hidden by Mom and weaponized by Clara. My meeting with David, James's brother, and his letter, "Even if I can't be your father, I'll always be your beginning," had grounded me. Now, returning home to pack, thanking Mom without forgiving her lies, and choosing peace over revenge with Clara, I'd forge a new chapter, my narration from a place of quiet strength, still with questions, but no longer defined by their secrets. I returned to the bungalow quietly, the audience sensing my resolve in the soft creak of the door, the way I moved through the house at dawn, my flannel shirt loose, my hazel eyes calm. Clara was at the hospital, Lily and Owen at school, the silence a canvas for my closure. I packed my things, books, records, a sketch Clara had drawn in college, its edges worn, a life I'd built with her, now a memory. The guest room, my refuge since her remark, held my journals, pages of pain and clarity. They lied, but I'm not their lie. I left a note for Clara, my handwriting steady. "I'm gone, Clara. We'll co-parent, but we're done. I know who I am now. No venom, no plea, just truth, my dignity a shield I'd carry." I drove to Mom's duplex, the hills green, her kitchen warm with tea, her silver hair tied back, her eyes wary but soft. She stood, her hands twisting a dish towel, her voice low. "George, you're leaving?" I nodded, my voice gentle, deliberate. "I'm starting over, Mom. Thank you for doing your best, for raising me." But the lies, hiding James, hurt me. Her eyes welled, her hand reaching, her voice breaking. "I thought I was protecting you, George. Harold was safe. James wasn't." I hugged her, brief but real, the audience sensing my bittersweet peace in the pause, my "I know" a release, not forgiveness. She tried, but she chose for me. My internal monologue reflected, my gratitude a weight lifted, my resolve to live my truth a vow. Clara's attempts to reconnect had faded, her texts. "I was wrong. George, let's try." Unanswered, her motives murky, her role in the secret a betrayal I couldn't mend. She'd called once, her voice soft, claiming Ellen had pushed her to speak, but her "I didn't mean to hurt you" rang hollow, her dinner remark a calculated wound. I met her at a cafe to discuss the kids, her eyes searching, her "I love you still" a hook I sidestepped. "We're parents, Clara, but not partners," I said, my tone firm, my heart steady, the audience feeling my strength in my folded hands, my refusal to sink into her guilt. I chose no revenge, no public airing of her cruelty or Mom's lies. The audience, sensing my restraint in the way, I left the cafe, my journal a release. She broke us, but I won't break her. I'm enough. The new apartment was my haven, the audience feeling my peace in the way I arranged my space. James's sketches on the walls, my records spinning, a fern from Rachel, my bookstore colleague, thriving in the light. I hung the photo of me and James, its frame simple, his eyes a mirror to mine, a tether to my beginning. Lily and Owen visited, their laughter a balm. Their questions, "Why don't you live with Mommy?" met with, "We're happier this way, but I'm always your dad." I ran the Asheville trails, my breath strong, my therapy with Dr. Ellis a compass. Her "What's George's truth?" answered with, "I'm my own story, not their lies." Rachel and Jake, a new friend from the Vinyl Club, became anchors, their coffee chats a warmth, my bookstore a sanctuary where I mentored a teen in turn, my pride a quiet flame. The emotional weight lingered, the audience sensing my questions in the moments I traced James's letter. It's "I'll always be your beginning," a bittersweet truth. Who was he beyond his art? Why did Mom fear him? But I let them rest, my search complete, David's number saved, our talks a bridge I'd cross slowly. Clara's betrayal, Mom's silence, Ellen's cruelty were scars, maps of pain, but not my definition. I volunteered at a community arts program, teaching kids to draw, my hand steady, my heart open, the audience feeling my resilience in the laughter, the pain on my fingers. I stood on my balcony, The French Broad River silver below, the photo of James and me glowing in the lamplight, a piece of my beginning I'd claimed. Clara's remark had shattered my trust. Mom's lies my past, but I'd walked through the fog, found David, James's letter, a truth they'd buried. The pain was a forge, shaping a man who didn't need their answers to stand tall. Questions lingered, James's laugh, his fears, but they didn't own me, my identity a canvas I'd paint with my choices, my kids, my work. I'd faced their secrets and built my own light, a lesson for anyone listening. When lies break you, seek your truth, hold your worth, and let your story shine. I, George, was at peace, my heart a home, my life a path I'd walk, the shattered table a spark that lit a fire, its glow a beacon that would never fade.